Abhi? Oh,
Ah,
you know what I did?
what?
I just turned it on. It was turned off. The mic was turned off.
What is going on? Are you not
What
feeling
is
good?
nothing? Just excited that we are coming to Pakistan. But we have to pack so much because we have to also empty this place out
Oh,
and then leave our extra bags to the other place. So that we're doing on Sunday.
okay. When are
So
you
I
flying
haven't
out?
started it. I haven't. We are flying on Monday.
Morning?
So total duration is around 16, 17 hours. No, in the
Why?
evening. But because Pakistan piche hai,
Huh?
I don't know. I don't care. But because Pakistan piche hai, so we are landing the same day in Pakistan, but
Do you get
maybe we're leaving in the
nervous
morning. Yeah, yeah.
before traveling?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I swear I'm not kidding. It's earthquake. I am not kidding. Oh shit. Hold on. Okay. Oh my God. Listen, I cannot handle this. I cannot handle it. Did you hear about the earthquake that happened like 3 days ago?
No. Was it bad?
नहीं ना नहीं पता इतने लोगों ने मुझे मैसेज किया बट तुमने नहीं किया मुझे मैसेज
मुझे नहीं पता
और
था
मेरे
ना।
खानदान वालों ने भी मैसेज नहीं किया
मुझे नहीं पता था। Your
so
Khandan walas are
no
not
there is an
up to date. Okay.
so like 3 4 days ago
हाँ,
around 11:30 I was up I was like in bed
हाँ,
and I was watching something and then
हाँ,
ekdam se I started moving and like
हाँ.
it went on and on for a while and I'm like "Abba, Bassam ko na, wake up what's happening." And then you know how he is, so he's like laughing at me. I'm like, no, this is serious. Oh, he's sleeping.
Hmm,
So I come out, and the whole building is moving. I'm not.
hmm.
It's like moving.
Yeah.
I was so scared, but this is, I guess, my life because apparently there's so many earthquakes every year.
Is that how
But
you're
that
going
one was,
to respond to every earthquake? Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's earthquake.
I think so. I think so. No, I knew obviously you know like anyone who knows Japan would know that they're like there'll be a lot of earthquakes over here. So when we were moving here, I was like, Bassam, please, I do not want to live in a high rise. I want to live in a house.
Hmm.
So thankfully we are moving in a house. At least
Hmm.
I can run. There's a chance. There's a chance to save myself.
But most of the buildings now are earthquake safe, resistant.
Yes, I know. So even over here, I think the building moving back and forth was whatever they had done. Like वो
Yeah,
उन्होंने
yeah,
mechanics लगाए हुए होंगे. That's
yeah,
why it was because it was very. It felt like I was in a swing, like a
yeah. They have
slow
made it
swing.
flexible so it moves but it doesn't crash.
It but it doesn't crash. So yeah, but you know जब हिल
Hmm.
रही होते हैं ना
Yeah,
तो बड़ा डर
yeah,
लगा.
I can imagine. Acha, so I was asking you, do you get I like if I have to travel, I can't sleep the night before. Like if I've packed everything, what if I miss the flight? What time do I need to be at the airport? तो मुझे तो I get
Oh, that
these
kind of anxiety.
travel anxiety.
I don't want to think about it because if I say it, it's gonna get worse.
Hmm.
When we were coming here,
Hmm.
should I say it? Okay, chalo बोल ही देती हूँ. So जब हम इधर when we were flying to Tokyo from Shanghai, thankfully it was just a 2.5 hour flight, and it was smooth till the last 5 minutes. And oh my god, I can't even think about it. It was the turbulence was crazy. तो मैं तो चिल्ला रही थी. And both of them were just, I mean, at that time they weren't laughing because I was like freaking out. And then, whenever there's turbulence, I try and look at the air hostesses and I try to assess by looking at their faces. I'm like, okay, इनकी शक्ल से पता लग जाएगा whether we're going down or we're going to survive.
Hmm.
My anxiety is about that, not the other things. But then I have a system. when I'm in the plane, एक तो inside मुझे कोई नींद नहीं आ रही होती because I'm like constantly thinking about, what if. But then while I'm thinking what if, I'm also thinking, अच्छा, you know what? Um, ये पायलट जो है वो हमें सेफली पहुंचा देगा. This is his or her job. He'll make sure or she'll make sure that we arrive safely. And throughout the whole trip, that is what I usually do, and that's how I survive. So when it's a short flight, it's great because you can do that for 2.5 hours. But if it's more than 4 hours, then it goes crazy. So this time it's a long flight. So
Hmm.
we're flying to Qatar first.
Oh, it's a connecting flight. Of course, there's no
So,
direct
it's not
flight.
a direct. Anyway, so this one is to Qatar, and then from Qatar, then Lahore. Uh, but the flight from Tokyo to Qatar is around 9-10 hours.
How are you going to deal with that? What are your plans?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pray. तस्बीह लेके जाऊंगी.
So your anxiety is while traveling, not before traveling.
But I don't know when I started like being like this in the planes. Like maybe after my dad died. And there was somebody close to me who passed away. Like before that, it was all okay. I've traveled on planes many times. Like there was one that I did to the States, and that is so long, and I did it with Zoe, and I mean, I don't even, I don't think I was like scared on the plane. I was tired and dead, and I was questioning my life choices when I decided to fly back to Pakistan. Oh, that was so tiring. She was running around. She wasn't drinking, eating, anything. She was just so hyper. She was kicking this person who was sitting next to me, and I'm so grateful to that lady that she didn't say anything. But what was it? I think it was Emirates, and at that time, Emirates. I don't know if they have it now, but they had a nanny service too. So I availed it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I need a break. But yeah, that was tough. And I was like, I am never doing a long, long ass flight with a toddler.
Hmm.
So what's happening with you?
What is happening with me? I'm just eating since morning. I don't know what has gotten into me. I'm just
Me too.
I feel like eating something and then I go and look for food.
Yes.
Oh, what is
Yes.
this day? I hate it.
I don't
Also,
know.
it's not sunny. It's very gray and I hate it. So, welcome to the next episode of Call Me When You Land. This is Tahira.
Oh, and I'm Aneeta.
Hello, everyone. um, so, since we were talking about Anita being anxious in the plane while traveling, but I want to ask you, what do you get excited about traveling? You have traveled alone as well. You have traveled with a toddler, and you have
Hmm.
traveled with your husband and friends for different reasons, purposes. What are you most excited about traveling?
So I haven't traveled as much as you have, I think. I think you've traveled
I think we
more,
have
no?
traveled to different destinations. Like, I haven't gone to places where you have. I have
Hmm.
traveled to the most, like, I've traveled a lot in Far East to Africa a little bit and then South America. But you have gone to North America, Europe, all those places that I haven't been to.
Yeah. Yeah. But only
So,
one place in Europe. Like, I've only been to Spain. I've been to Spain, I've been to the US. So those two. And then most of the travel has just been in Asia. Like Thailand. Every Pakistani does Thailand. सबसे पहले जो trip होता है वो Thailand ही होता है because it's easy to get the visa. I don't know how it is now, but it was very easy getting a visa for that place. Malaysia, I've done. Actually, Malaysia, I've done twice. The last time I went to Malaysia, I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. So I think I'm going to cut that out of my list now. Then Sri Lanka, I've done Sri Lanka. Indonesia, that was fun. Bali was. And then, of course, China. So I've done a lot of traveling within China, but that was because I lived there. So, okay, so what do I look forward to when I'm traveling? I think it depends on what my situation is. Like if I'm solo traveling, which by the way I haven't done. I haven't done as much as you have. And I was thinking about the places that I've been to as a solo traveler. When I was younger, I did travel solo, but my traveling was mostly for education or for work, and that was late teens and then in my 20s, because my college was in Lahore, so back and forth from Karachi to Lahore. And then whatever traveling happened in the 20s was because I was like was work related. And so it wasn't really for fun. I think when I started traveling for fun, I always traveled with someone. I traveled with my now husband. I've traveled with friends. We've traveled. Uh, have I traveled? I'm thinking. Yes, I've traveled with my family too. We've been to Hunza, but I don't consider that a holiday because my family is from there. So it's more of like a family reunion type of a situation. So
Hmm.
depends on who I'm traveling with, right? If traveling with my friends then or my family, then the excitement is more of let's spend time together. Okay. But if I am traveling with my my husband and my daughter, if we're traveling together, which is what we do now, excitement is yes, spending time together, but we generally spend time together. Then that is finding experiences. You know, it's something all three of us want to do together, or something I want to do and I want them to experience. So for me, going to a new place or going to a destination for tourism is highly dependent on where I'm going as well. If it's a beach place, then you just sit on the beach and just enjoy that and have food. But if it's, let's say, a place like Spain that has a lot of history, then I want to do
Hmm.
everything there. I want to
Hmm.
go to all the historical places. I want to go see the what's that Sagria Familia. I'm saying it wrong, but the cathedral. I want to see what Gaudi did. I want to see some museums, and I do that. My solo traveling in China. Okay, my solo traveling in China has been amazing because I get to do everything that I want to. And I usually choose places that have some historical significance. So I want to go to the museums. I want to go to, you know, the old quarter of some sort or the old fort. And the other two in my life are not really into that. I mean, they'll say yes, but they wouldn't want to go every single day to see these
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
So that's why last year I got to go to many places because we kind of knew that we were leaving China. And then I got to do that. So, yeah, so it's a lot of fun traveling solo here in China. However, I will say solo traveling in Pakistan is a different experience. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't traveled solo in Pakistan for fun. But and I did that a lot when I was younger, and it's such a different experience when you're younger and you're a solo traveler. You get a lot of attention, unwanted attention. You get hit on a lot, and you're like, okay, bus kar do. I mean, I'm also going for work or college ja rahi hu. Just leave me alone. And yeah, it. But I'm sure if I had done some solo traveling in Pakistan for fun, it would have been okay. I mean, you just have to be a little bit careful in many places. China is different. So anybody coming here for solo traveling, I will say yes, do it. It's safe. People don't care. People are very friendly. Actually, they're curious, so they will come up to you. They will would want to talk to you,
Hmm.
but only because they want to know where you're from. And if you say you're from Pakistan, they're so happy because Pakistan, China, steel brothers, and they'll start, talking about how we're batiye, that's what they call our relationship. So it's really nice. So yeah, China, I solo travel
Except
kare.
you are
But
not
you,
in China, you're in
well, solo
Japan.
traveling. Now you're not coming to meet me. Yes, in Japan would be amazing too. I have plans to solo travel over here as well. But let's see when that happens. But you've done a lot of solo traveling. You've done solo traveling within Pakistan and outside of Pakistan. So tell me about your experience.
I mostly travel solo because a couple of times, as you were saying, if you're traveling with people, then you have to. I am worried about like what do they want to do? What if they want to do something different? So मुझे बहुत like I'm worried about their time and how they are spending it, and they should have a good time. So I would rather travel by myself. Then I can make decisions quickly, change plans quickly, just go with the flow, and just take more chances actually.
So
Um,
basically, you don't want to be tied down to what other people want. Takut. That's the reason.
100%, 100%. Like if I want to spend an entire day sitting in a park looking at the water, I will do that. Unless I'm with someone, then I'm like, oh, do you want to do something? Do you want to go somewhere? I think I worry too much about what other people think or want to do. So solo also I love because I love living in hostels, and unlike you, I do very budget traveling, so I'm looking for like the cheapest
No, no,
place.
listen. No, listen. I also look at our budget.
Hmm.
And yes, I have not lived in hostels, and I don't think how you do that. But if you're going for a little bit of fun, might as well just stay in a relatively nice hotel,
So if you're
I
alone,
think.
then you don't want to spend a lot of time in the room, right? So if I have a nicer room, for example, I would spend a lot of time in the room. If I don't have a nicer room and it's just a bunk bed, I'm forced to be outside. I'm forced to meet people, do things, walk around the city, make new friends, have more experiences. Because knowing me, if I have like a very cozy, nice, fancy room, I would just be in the room and watch TV probably. So it's my problem. So when I live in hostels, it's much easier for me to talk to people because hostels have very social. Like you can't go and stay in a fancy hotel and sit and have meal with someone. People are busy with themselves. But in hostel culture, people are all right if a stranger comes and sits next to you and talk to you, and people want to share experiences. From the very first time when I traveled alone, I realized it's much more fun. You learn a lot from other travelers, what their experience was of that particular city or area. They help you a lot. And then you can plan things together as well. Like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to see this temple. Do you want to come? And then you'll rent a bike and, go and hang out and do that. So that way, I find solo traveling much more flexible. It puts me in a lot of vulnerable situations, which I think for me, traveling is all about getting out of my comfort zone, out of my
Mm-hmm.
bubble, and putting myself in new places where I don't know the language, I don't know the names of the places, I don't know anyone there, and just feeling that vulnerability and then finding people that you can connect with.
Well,
Um,
listen, you are an extrovert to some extent. So it this kind of yes, I think you are. I think when
I'm
you are
not an
in
extrovert
okay,
at
listen.
all. You are so much more. Oh, you know, you are so much better with strangers and social situations than I'm a social awkward human being.
Okay, but then it doesn't come across as you are socially awkward. What I'm saying is like, okay, let's say you are an introvert, but you kind of are a little bit open with other people. Let's just yeah. So that's who you are.
True.
You are okay with people's invitations and them coming into your space. Now, for someone who is an introvert who does not want other people to come into their space, what do they do?
It's just, again, it is as much you want to interact with people as you want. You can choose that. But if you take someone with you somewhere, there is no way that you can have any alone time at all, because you're just talking to each other. So you would hardly get a chance to talk to a stranger or get to know them. So the chances of you making new friends or finding opportunities to get to know locals or going to places which you wouldn't have is much higher if you're traveling alone. Then so I went to Indonesia, Bali, with friends. And good thing was I was staying in hostel with the friend, so I ended up meeting a lot of people. But otherwise we were spending all the time together. We'll be like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And then there was nothing, like I felt like I was still in Lahore having the same conversations, and it was just my friends and me having the same problems, talking about the same people. So there's no newness to it. The sense of adventure was gone from the conversation. Like, oh, look at this nice building. Yeah, acha, so phir kya hua? Wo bata, like, so we were just back to our comfort zone, I would say.
Because
So
I romanticize these kind of situations because I'm so far away from all the friends. So I'm like, Taira, what great trip you must be having because you are going out with friends. But I get what you're saying. So is that what you look for when you're traveling? Is that what you want from your travels? You want a different kind of adventure. You want
isn't that the idea? Like just going to, let's say,
no, I don't think so. I
no?
think it's also no, I don't think it's like experiencing something crazy. It's like yeah, you go to a new place to see what's different, but also kind of just enjoy whatever that brings to you. I don't
Huh, so you're 100% right. And we are not very different. People are not very different, whether you go to any part of the world. It's just that we are experiencing it for the first time or even for the second time, that culture, that language, that food. Someone is knocking on my door, and I will have to call you back because we are running out of time.
yeah,
अच्छा,
before
so
you call me
listen,
back.
go back to I asked you what do you like about traveling. मुझे भी नहीं आता है इसका जवाब, but tell me what do you like about traveling.
What do I like about traveling?
Yeah.
Um I used to like the fact that I am going to another place.
Hmm.
Also, to be completely honest, it was outside of Pakistan.
Hmm.
So, traveling outside of Pakistan, going to a different place that was the exciting part for me because I started traveling outside of Pakistan quite actually, why am I saying it? A lot of people in Pakistan don't travel outside, don't get to travel. I think the first time I traveled outside of Pakistan was for work. I went to Malaysia and I'm like, oh my God, what a great place. Because it was so different. And the fact that you could walk on the streets without anybody looking at you, the freedom. I think that's what attracted me towards traveling. But I was never I want to travel. I mean, I like the idea of traveling. It's nice if one can do it, and I know I'm blessed to be able to do that. But I'm okay with not traveling too. For me,
Okay, interesting.
I do feel that it opens up your mind a little bit. You
Hmm.
see and meet people from various backgrounds. You get to learn a lot more about yourself as well as about people you meet, or if you are not into meeting people and becoming friends with them when you're traveling, that's also okay. You can kind of, see how people are in their environment. Just like how when people come to Pakistan and they see how we are in an environment. A lot of people say we're pretty hospitable, right?
Hmm.
हमारी hospitality बड़ी अच्छी है.
हाँ.
Whenever I see those kind of videos, I'm like, अच्छा हमारे साथ तो बिल्कुल नहीं होती. But people are different when they interact with tourists, and just like for us as well. I do think if you can, you should travel, but that's not the reality for many people because पैसे चाहिए होते हैं, सबके पास पैसे तो नहीं होते हैं.
Hmm.
पर अगर मौका मिले तो करना चाहिए एटलीस्ट एक दो जगह तो ज़रूर जाएं. And also be open when you go somewhere new. Some of the people I know would be too stuck up on the choices, the food choices, right? They'd be like, oh, वहाँ ये नहीं मिलेगा, वहाँ ये नहीं मिलेगा. Of course नहीं मिलेगा. Not that the world
Hmm.
does not revolve around what you want to eat and what is halal or not. But there
Yeah.
would be options. Of
Yeah.
course, you stay true to yourself. ठीक है, go for halal food, but don't complain about it. So just do a little bit of research and then go to places. But do go. One of the reasons why some people said they don't think China would be a good option for them is because of the food choices. Try to correct them and be like, hey, listen, they also have halal options because there's a big Chinese Muslim community too.
Who are
So
these
people
people who are
do.
not going to China because of food? Who's giving them visa anyway? Chinese do not give us tourist visa. Hello.
That's
What
true.
are they on?
That's true. That's true. So yeah, maybe this is just an
Hmm.
excuse. वीजा
Exactly.
तो मिलना नहीं है आपको तो आप बस कहे कि खाना सही नहीं है. Yeah. What about
And
you?
for us, like, little things like you're able to walk on the road, for example,
Oh
without
yes.
getting
Yeah.
harassed, or
Yes.
allowed to wear whatever you want. Like you can just
Yes.
walk around in slippers and shorts, and that would be fine. I think that sense of freedom is what I want to
Mm-hmm.
experience whenever I'm out of this country. Like, I just want to walk on the road, in the streets. I went to Brazil. I remember my friend asked me, okay, so what do you want to? I have a friend, Brazilian friend. We were roommates in Islamabad. So when I went to Brazil, I went to see her in São Paulo. And she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, you know what? I just want to walk around. And she's like, to where? I'm like, anywhere. I just want to in a big city like Sao Paulo, I just want to walk around in my slippers and not be bothered and walk slowly and not with the purpose like here we need to. You wouldn't see. Actually, our friend Sadia Khatri has done a lot of work on it, like how women need to occupy public spaces in Pakistan because every time you see a woman on the road, she's just walking with a purpose to get somewhere. You won't see girls standing in the corner of the street having a cup of tea or having a smoke or just chatting. That's very much saved that right for men. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, that sense of freedom that I get when I'm traveling anywhere, literally, but
You're
here.
right.
And then here also, by the way, mountains, same experience. I can walk around even like 2 a.m. on the road without being scared. I can just stand on the road, have a chat with friends, sit on the road, have a cup of tea. So that experience, the reason I keep going back to mountains also is the same because it gives me the same sense of freedom that I get when I'm traveling out. But usually I
Mm-hmm.
just travel to places whoever will give me visa. So Far East, I've traveled a lot because they have given me visas. East Africa, the countries that I've been to, they most of them were online visa or okay with a Pakistani passport coming to that
Yeah.
country. Um, like South America was a like I had to ask someone who knew the ambassador, and they were also worried. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of the people who have gone from here to Brazil have never come back, so they were also worried
Mm-hmm.
about it. But that's how. So it's difficult for us to get visa on Pakistani passport. So anyone who has a better passport is privileged to travel anywhere in the world. They should do it. But generally, as a culture, don't you think, as a Asian, specifically, actually, more I know is South Asian society, we learn to travel a lot from the very early days. Like I have to leave my small hometown, come to big city for education. So we travel a lot for education. Then because both like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we are very rural society, and we have very few urban cities where people can go get higher education or find work. तो हम तो बहुत ट्रैवल करते हैं। शुरू दिन से ही
True
जैसे
that.
ही स्कूल से निकलते हैं हम ट्रैवलिंग शुरू कर देते हैं।
I
देन
mean, listen, my parents traveled from Hunza to Karachi. I traveled later on. I mean, Karachi had options too, so I mean, we can go into the details of why I chose Lahore. Well, I just wanted to run away from home, right? That's why I chose something far away. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's very common for people who want to make a better life, striving for a better life, to leave their towns and move to bigger cities. And we only have number of big cities. When did you travel outside? Like when did you travel from your hometown
right
to
after
Lahore? Was it
school,
Lahore?
yeah, I came to
Hmm.
Lahore for college. I was 17 at that time. So since then, I've been out. It's been a long time, and it was scary in the beginning. But yeah, we do travel a lot. My friend Jason, he's from
Hmm.
Nepal, and he runs this amazing place, hostel next door as well. He always says like the new age traveling is such a colonial concept. It's such a Gora concept that they travel,
Hmm.
but we don't. Like, no one travels more than Asian people, because most of us, no matter what religion they're from, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Christians, we travel for pilgrimage more than anyone else in the world. हम
You're
हर
right.
जगह जाते हैं, like we have temples, mosques, ziyarat, some darbar that we need to go to. So we travel a lot for religious reasons, we travel a lot for education, we traveled a lot for work, but this is not considered travel because of course we are brown people, and it's not.
Absolutely. I think the traveling that people talk about is, whenever they, oh, I have a travel blog, it's mostly a tourist travel blog, right? Like just for fun. So that's what we've been sold,
Yeah,
right?
we have
We're
been
like, okay,
sold
travel
that.
kare to maze ke liye kare travel.
Hmm.
That's a real deal. I mean, I also thought the same thing. I'm going to think about that a lot today and
Yes,
tomorrow.
too.
Do some
it's
research
it's
and be
good
more
to talk.
angry with the.
This is the reason I travel, because you get to meet people and get to learn
Mhm.
new ways to think about things. Like if I wouldn't have gone to Nepal, I wouldn't have stayed in that hostel. अगर मैं ना मिलती Jason से, so we won't have had these conversations, right? So this is the reason I like traveling. I meet new
Mhm.
people, explore new ideas, see how they are thinking differently. Nepali society is similar to us, where most of the population is in rural areas, and their young boys also want to just get out of the country, go to Gulf countries, make a
Mhm.
living there. They sell their land to pay the agent to get that visa or work permit in Dubai or Qatar or somewhere, or Muscat, so they can get out
Mhm.
of the. And then I met this wonderful. He's now a dear dear friend. He's Nepali, and I met him, and he told me how he's traveling from village to village on foot to talk to youngsters. I'm like, what are you talking to them about? And he said this, that there's dignity in working on your own land. There's no dignity in going to a Gulf country and doing slave jobs for
Mhm.
not much money. Your living conditions are horrible. In one room, there are like 20 boys jammed. They take their passports. And we have seen how the football Um, the steel was being built in, was it in Qatar or it was in Qatar? And how
Mhm.
many laborers died there? And these are the
Mhm.
laborers who went from Nepal, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. There's no value of life for these laborers there, but they still
No, but
think,
Tara, listen.
"Hmm,
कोई वजह से ही जाते हैं, राइट? बिकॉज उनको यहाँ पे अपने मुल्क में कोई लाइफ लाइन नहीं लग रही होती है. आई मीन, what happens in these places is horrendous. They're treated really badly. But I think it's okay if someone wants to make a better life for themselves. That's okay. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I honestly think it's okay if somebody wants to make a better life, uh, better life by leaving their land and going to another place,
absolutely."
because I can see your face. You're like, what do I do? I've made up my mind. Okay,
I
no,
don't
I'll
know
think
what
about.
point are you trying to make, but all right, 100%. Acha, so I have to give you some facts about travelers, huh? And I've stolen these
Yes.
from thehostelworld.com because they do a survey every year. And
Okay, tell me.
something really surprising that I was not aware of is that 80% of solo travelers are women. Women travel
Ooh.
more than men.
Mm-hmm.
And 66% of these 80% women are between the age of 18 and 30. So 18-30 के बीच में बहुत ज़्यादा लड़कियां ट्रैवल करती हैं और अकेले करती हैं. And then a big the number of it is the women who are married women who travel solo. And when asked ke if you're married or if you have a partner or you have kids, why are you traveling solo? The answer to that these women give is because my partner is just not interested in traveling. So I realized that I'm not gonna wait for him to go with me. So I've decided that I want to travel by myself. Acha, when asked,
Interesting.
and then the question was, I want to ask you, why do you think women travel more solo than men?
Because they want to get away from all the stuff that happens in their household. They want a little break. Even if they're married or not married, they just want to break from they want to break from their lives, basically. I am thinking in terms of Pakistan, but I guess this study probably has people
It's
from
global, yeah.
other
So
parts of
think
the world. It is
global.
global, right?
Huh. Why do
So
you
I'm
think
thinking
women
global.
want to?
They want to have new experiences. That would be the answer to why women are traveling solo. Does this survey also tell us where they're going? Because I think that
Yes.
will give us where they're
So the
traveling
top
most.
three destinations globally are number one is in Asia, Thailand,
Hmm.
and then two
Mm,
is Spain, and third is Italy. So these are the top
really?
third preferences.
Okay, I have no idea why people are traveling alone to Spain and Italy. Are the girls traveling because the men there are good looking? I'm not sure. Thailand is crazy. It depends on where you
Where
go,
you
right?
going? Yeah.
You go north, which means you want to be with yourself and you want to have like a nice, relaxing time. You go down, you want to have fun. So I feel like they want to travel to let go, to relax a little bit, to be free.
Hmm,
So
you're
what does this
absolutely
survey
right.
tell us? Is that,
So
am I
it's
right?
a no, you're absolutely right. They want to experience freedom.
Yeah.
They want to experience freedom. They want to experience independence, and they are seeking adventures in life. And they, most of them are on a journey on self-exploration. Eat, pray, love, my friend. Eat, pray, love.
Ah, wow. So 20, from 20s till the 30s, right? Till 30s, right? Okay. I got married after the age of 30, so I'm like, wait a second, who are these married girls in their 20s? But I forget a lot of girls do get married when they're
No,
in their
no, but
20s.
these
So,
are the till 30s are 60% of the women are under
okay.
30. The other 40% is older as well. Like my age group also travels.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
but the thing I was thinking is, and I was reading also somewhere, not a part of the surveys, because why so many women are traveling and not why men are not traveling. So that these are two different questions. Why women are traveling is because it's a very new thing for women. Like, you know how till very recent history, women were forced in those very and confined in houses in those very particular, like, typical roles. So this 19th century, 20th century has given freedom to women where they have financial independence so they can afford to travel, they make their own money. Traveling is easier, it's safer. You can get on the plane, buy a ticket, online book your hotel. You have cell phones, which has made it much more safer now that you can send your location. You can see where the, hotel or hostel is where you're staying. So I think that is because why more women are traveling. Why men are not traveling as much solo. Of course, men are traveling all the time more than women generally, but solo traveling, mein, is because men have a serious problem. We have a pandemic of lonely men in the world because women don't want to be with
Yes,
them.
fair.
Men get lonely very easily. So when asked in this survey, from men कि आप क्यों नहीं अकेले जाते हैं कहीं, they're like, oh, because we
Yeah.
feel very lonely. None of the women
Oh
said we
my gosh.
lonely, but they get lonely. So you always see boys
Why?
like in groups, um and big groups, not
You
even
do.
like two three boys नहीं, मतलब
Yeah.
चार पांच छह होंगे. And
Mm.
so the psychologists say about that you know how women have a one-on-one relationship. Like for me, it's not, oh, these are my friends. No, I will always say Anita, you know, Faraz, Shazeb. But for men, family is one group, work
Mhm.
people is one group, and then friends is other group. So for them,
Mm.
their fulfillment comes from a group communication. For women, our relationship fulfillment comes from one-on-one relationship. Like we can two sit together, live together, travel together, and be fine. You wouldn't see two boys unless they're in a romantic relationship traveling. You wouldn't see two boys traveling. You'll see two girls a lot, like, two friends traveling together, or mother and
Yeah.
daughter traveling together, or two sisters traveling together. So
Mhm.
this is the reason men are not traveling as much. Boys, please stop feeling lonely and go on
No, you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
self-exploration.
No, no, no. I think it's okay. I don't
You
think you
need
need to
to do
travel. Just
eat,
stay
pray,
home.
eat, pray.
Just yeah, no need to do that. I think you did that for a long, long time. Just आप chill करें, आप घर पे बैठे, आप video games खेलें. बस हो गया solo traveling का.
I think traveling ho gaya hai. Acha, Anita, do you have any recommendation for us? Movies, TV.
Yes. So not a movie, but a TV show.
Okay.
And I think I talked to you separately about this, but I will just announce it. It's a TV show, it's a Korean TV show called Life Give You When Life Gives You Tangerines. I absolutely love this TV show. And for you to watch, so here's what you need to do. You need 16 hours of your life.
Oh my God.
Because yes, it's a long one. I think there's 16 episodes, but each episode is an hour-long episode, and so you need 16 hours of your life, but also you need lots and lots of tissues. It's a tearjerker, and I guarantee that you will cry your eyes out after every like a minute or 2 minutes. I just loved it. Like I said, it's a South Korean drama. It follows the life of a couple from when they weren't a couple, they were kids. They knew each other from when they were really, really young. And they are from Jeju Island. Now, if you know South Korea, you know about Jeju Island as well. But uh, but they were on Jeju Island when Jeju Island was not a touristy spot. It was a rural area and economically poor. And that's why when you see the TV show, you also see the struggles of people who are living there. A bit of the theme is it's also that. What I also liked about this show is how the writers they incorporated real historical events that happened in South Korea, and they incorporated that in the story in a seamless way. way. Like it's just happening while the main story is happening, but the other parts are also included in it. Like for example, when they were in the 90s, they talked about the financial crisis that happened, and many people lost their jobs. And the series shows that the daughter of the two main characters, uh, how she went through that, and she lost her job, and stuff like that. Another interesting thing about this TV show
Hmm.
is how they talk about the Hanyus. Do you know about the Hanyus?
No, I
The
don't. Tell
female,
me.
so in Jeju Island, this was very common back in the day. They still exist, but there are not that many left. So these female divers, they don't wear any oxygen masks. They would go deep inside to fish and to. Now, I did learn about them ages ago, but I only saw some video a long time ago, and in a very romanticized way, that there are these divers who go in, they don't wear oxygen masks, and it's so incredible. And I was very fascinated, by the way, and
Hmm.
I was in awe of them,
Obviously.
and I still am. But the show made me realize that we should think about them a little bit more in a different way, because this was their job, this was their livelihood, right? It's a physically demanding and very dangerous job, and they were diving for hours in cold water without any equipment, and they were doing that all to support their families.
It's their
and
livelihood. They
and
have no other choice,
ex-
probably.
exactly, they don't have any choice. And
Yeah.
back in the day, things weren't really great in that area. And yes, we can talk about their connection to the sea, because a little bit of that conversation happens in the TV show as well. There's several videos online that about them, and if people are curious about who they are, they can check it out. And apparently, there's even a documentary produced by our very own Malala. I wouldn't have
Really?
said. Yes, it was released last year. I haven't seen it because it's on Apple and they want me to buy their subscription, which I'm not going to. So I'm just going to wait and see if someone releases it somewhere, and that's when I'm going to watch it. But there are a lot of clips on YouTube, so you can get a glimpse of who these wonderful ladies are. Anyway, take your time. It's really long, an hour long episode, and there are like around 16. And once you're done, you're gonna love me. And yeah, I'll say you're welcome. So Tara, when you have time, देख लेना. You'll
एक
like
दिन
it.
में देखूंगी. हाँ, 16 hours.
I think I
So is
think
it
it's not that.
subtitled that you're reading or you have English voiceover?
So when I watch South Korean or any movie that is a TV show that is in another language, then I like listening to their original voice. So I do subtitles. I just prefer
Oh,
it that way.
so that's a lot of work. Like you're reading and watching 16 hours of movie.
It's
Okay.
worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Watch it. Okay. Moving on to the book of the week or this episode is a
Hmm.
book called Samarkand. Now, Tyra, I
Hmm.
read this a long time ago, and I don't know, were you the one who gave me this book?
Yeah, you took my book, never
Right?
returned
I
it.
have it. I still have it.
I
No, I
know.
haven't. It's an incredible book, but I read it a long time ago. But you know what? I just don't remember it. I don't remember the details. I remember what it was about.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to follow your lead. Take it away, Tyra.
So this book called Samarkand, one of my favorite book, was written by a Lebanese slash French writer who moved to France later on in his life. And he wrote this book in 1988, I guess. So what it's a historical fiction. It follows the famous poet, Persian poet Umar Khayyam, and his collection of poetry, or what we call them rubaiyat. So it goes back where it tells the story of Umar Khayyam and his adventures and travels, and also a love story that Umar Khayyam and Jahan, who was a court poet, that they had. It's a very tragic love story, long. relationship. But at the same time, the protagonist in the book is in current time. So Umar Khayyam was from 11th century, and then the protagonist who's talking about this book and who's looking for that book places himself in current day Iran in the 1970s, where the revolution is happening. So that revolution that eventually translated into overthrowing the Raza Pahlavi, the king, and it's a very significant revolution. So we still see till this day, we see the impact of that revolution in the geopolitical the environment of this region. So it's an interesting book that way, that it has a lot of real time, real historical events, and then some fiction also. Like he's fictionalizing his time in Iran, but when he's talking about the revolution, those events actually happened. Similarly, when he's talking about Umar Khayyam, so there are two parts of this book, current day and then Umar Khayyam's life, and they are going parallel. While he's traveling through Persia and meeting people and his interaction, and then he going back in time and talking about what Umar Khayyam was doing. And so Umar Khayyam's life in Samarkand and his relationship with Jahan in Samarkand is the reason why the book's name is Samarkand. It's a beautiful book. Do read it. And it's one of those books, and you would agree with me, if once you start reading it, you can't put it down. Once you start reading it, you can't put it down because it takes you on an adventure. Unlike the books that the book we read last week, Hunchback. By the way, I finished it, and
Oh,
it
you
does
did?
not get
Congratulations.
better. It does. It just becomes weirder, and oh my God, why did you make me read that book? It just becomes weirder and weirder. But yeah, Samarkand is in a beautiful book by Amin Malouf. And do let us know about your views on the book, and how do you feel about the story of Umar Khayyam and Jahan and their love story.
So I remember some other characters in the book too. There was the Vizier
Yeah,
and Hassan bin
Hassan
Sabah.
bin Sabah, yeah.
So he was in it as well.
So he's
And
following
I
the
was
book,
just,
right? So the book ended
mm-hmm,
up at Almut. So he's
yeah.
talking about all the characters that Umar Khayyam was interacting with, and then Hassan bin Sabah is also, I don't know if it's fictional event or it actually happened, where Umar Khayyam and Hassan meet somewhere at some I don't know what they used to call those hotels, the inns, some place that
Okay.
they met while they were traveling. So yeah, there are a lot of many other
I've
characters.
I've read that it's fictional. They never did. They were around there at the same time because Hassan bin Sabah was the enemy of the Seljuks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he was there, but they never met. So that was just something the writer.
Fictionalized. But is it true that Hassan really liked Umar Khayyam's writing, and how Umar Khayyam also was a fan of Hassan, who tried to save him from the.
I don't think so. Maybe there was some interaction of some
Mm,
sort, but a lot of the other videos or papers that I've read kind of don't really talk about it, right? They talk about Hassan bin Sabah as being the founder of the assassins. And also, like, we have to understand, like, anything that's written about Hassan bin Sabah
is
is,
fictionalized.
if people in Almod did write about him, all of that was destroyed when the Mongols came.
Yeah, famously Mongols
So
destroyed the entire library, and
yeah,
yeah.
so we don't really know if anything of, like, whatever we hear about him and his group of assassins. I think all of that is complete fabrication or just stories written by his enemies, basically.
No,
Also,
his
my view of
enemies
Hassan bin
actually
Sabah is
feared
very,
him. The story of assassins is
of course, they
true
did.
because they feared him because they never found an enemy who was so fearless that
Hmm.
those assassins will go and kill the sultan or kill the vizier and then just stand there and not run away like, any other assassin
Hmm.
would. So they feared him. So all the stories are also about how all these elites of the time feared Hassan's assassins, and how powerful and how learned that guy was. And he had the best library in the world where he collected the masterpieces from all over the world. And when Mongols destroyed Almud, they also burnt the entire library.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Mongols did wherever they went. They just destroyed all the libraries. So we don't really know too much of what actually happened, which is kind of sad. Would have been
Correct.
interesting to know exactly how these. I mean, we know a lot about the other conquerors, you know. We know about Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar, but we don't really know too much about these historical figures. But you know, my question is, why did Umar Khayyam become such a darling of the West? Yeah, I was just curious about how so many people from, like, there is this clip of Bill Clinton quoting him, then Martin Luther King is quoting him. And so I was just thinking, like, who did that? I know who translated it, and I guess that's why. But it's funny how that guy, what's his name? Edward Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
What's his name? That
Hmm.
he translated it. But what's funny is that he wasn't really someone who knew the language through and through. He was learning.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like translation kaise ki aapne without
Yeah.
really understanding
Yeah.
the language. So I believe that his translations are all BS, and I'm sure
Hmm.
that's been proven. But I haven't really read all of his translations. I've only heard bits and pieces of the quotes that people like to like throw out. But there are Iranian scholars who have translated Omar Khayyam's Rubaiyat. I mean, I don't know if I'll pick that up and read that. But if anybody is interested in Omar Khayyam, then I guess
Hmm.
they need to do that first and then they can read Edward Fitzgerald. But if you guys don't want to forget about it, just read Samarkand and you'll enjoy this historical fiction.
But answering your question, West has woken up to this Oriental obsession. Isn't new. Like whether it's Khalil Gibran or it's Umar Khayyam, or now
Rumi.
Rumi. I mean, oh my God, the things people say that Rumi wrote, unbelievable. So yeah, there is that the obsession is with the philosophy and the spiritual aspect of it, which probably they lacked. That's why they sort of go back to these. They were philosophers. They were not just poets. They were philosophers. They sat in courts. They were making laws, and they were witnessing history changing. I guess for all these reasons, West is little obsessed with them, and of course, as they should be. Why not? So yeah, this is our book of the
Absolutely.
week, Samarkand.
Acha.
Who's
Oh
your
my God, who's my
person of
guy?
the week?
So my guy, I have a guy this time around, Tyra.
Okay, not a
So
woman.
this,
That's all
not
right.
a woman.
We have good boys also.
Yes, we do. So this boy is from Australia. His name is Peter Drew, and he's an artist. On his website, it says that Peter Drew is an Australian artist whose work is concerned with memory, nationalism, masculinity, criminality, and mythology. But what I know him for and really liked is his poster series. He
Hmm.
calls it the Aussie series.
Hmm.
What he does is that he takes these pictures of people who were Australians
Hmm.
from the historical record, and then he turns their pictures into big posters. And the people he selects are non white Australians,
So are
right?
we
So these
talking about
pictures are,
native Australians?
no, we're
Oh,
talking about South Asians, right? Not
oh,
Native Americans,
immigrants,
but he has,
but
yes, but non white Australians,
hmm.
right? So these pictures are of actual people who were bound up with the white Australian policy. When what was that? It was the Immigration Act of 1901, designed to stop non European, especially Asian immigrants, to keep Australia predominantly white and British. And what is interesting is they also had a dictation test that the immigration officers could ask anyone to do, could ask anyone to write a passage, and guess this, in any European language they choose, not English, any. Polish लिख लो, German लिख लो. This is what they test. And of course it was going to pass.
Interesting. Yeah.
So this is one of the things that they did in this white Australian policy that gave them the power to stop non-white people coming in as immigrants. This policy was dismantled in 1958, and it fully ended with the Racial Discrimination Act in
Don't we still have
1975.
it with aisles and cat and whatnot? How is it not there anymore?
Yeah. Of course, they will find some other solutions. They'll try and make sure that less of other people are in their countries. So,
Hmm.
but the other interesting thing is that around that time, in other parts of the world, there were similar policies being applied. Like in the US, there was the Chinese Exclusion Act, and almost all Chinese laborers were barred from entering the US for decades. Canada also did that, and they're like, hey, we want to
Hmm.
implement that too. They also barred Chinese
Hmm.
people. They also targeted Indian migrants, and with them they had this requirement called the continuous journey, which was impossible to meet. Apparently you had to board from India and go directly to Canada, like ages ago. Like, how is that possible? It's not. So New Zealand did something similar to what the Australians did. South Africa, Latin America, a lot of the countries were doing this. And what is so frustrating when you think about this and you read about this is that these policies are coming from the invaders, from colonizers. Hello.
Exactly. They think that since we are here, we don't need anyone else coming in.
Exactly. So anyway, so this gives us a bit of context. What was happening around the world at the time wasn't just an Australian issue, it was a broader colonial pattern, right? So Peter Drew, this artist that I'm talking about, took this history, like Australian history, and turned it into a thought-provoking art because he wanted people to start a conversation. So by the way, he started this in 2016, and he recently announced on his socials that he's bringing this series back. And that's how I found out about the story
Hmm.
behind these posters. If you go on his socials, he's posted a lot of videos. And one video, he's talking about one of the first images that he used, which is of a person called Monga Khan, who was a Muslim man from some place which is now in Pakistan, but at that time, of course, it was India. And he had applied for an exemption to the white Australian policy, so he could go back
Hmm.
and then come back again after
Hmm.
traveling. And Peter Drew said that he chose Monga Khan to show that Muslims have been in Australia for a while. It's not a new concept. And around that time, there was like an anti Muslim rhetoric going on in Australia. So he decided to use Monga Khan's image as one of his first images. So for him, he says that the word Aussie has a double meaning. On one hand, Monga is Aussie, like he's Australian, right? And many people like him
Yes.
Australian. But it also reminds us that the white Australia policy is also Australian, part of the country's history. So what he wants people to do is he wants people to have a conversation and sit with this tension, reflect on it, and then let something meaningful come out of it. So I thought it was very bold.
I
Recently, I
agree.
think there was a protest that was happening, and some of his posters was ripped up
Hmm.
by anti-immigration protesters because that is a thing again now. And
Yeah,
then he says,
globally, West generally it's on the rise, anti-immigrant
yeah,
sentiment.
yeah. So this didn't. So what he decided to do is like, I'm going to add more posters, and I'm going to put them all over Australia. So yeah, this is my guy, Peter
Interesting.
Drew.
Love that.
Find
I
him on
will check him
Instagram. He's
out.
there.
Okay, I'll check him out. My person of this week is someone who's no more. Her name is Asma Jangir. We all know her.
Yes, we do.
Um, she was a human rights lawyer, and from the very early age, when she was just a teenager, she was protesting on the roads. You can in archive see her pictures in 80s, when Ziaul Haq was ruling. We had dictatorship. She was on the road. Her father was arrested by the dictator at that time, and she and her sisters were protesting on the road, and the police were charging on them with batons and tear gas. So um, she started her activism from a very early age. She became a human rights lawyer, and she became this force in her country that started a new foundation as well. It wasn't a foundation, it's a commission. It's called Human Rights Commission of Pakistan. It was an independent organization that started in 1986. She co-founded it. And she was the chairperson also at one point, and she was secretary general as well. And this commission took up cases that no one else was taking, like violence against women, honor killing, abolishing capital punishment. Then there was religious violence. There was a lot of violence against minorities as well. There's a famous case of a blind girl being raped in Pakistan, and how she was the one who was sentenced because she didn't have a witness. So she fought against that ridiculous ness, and she, till the time she died in 2018, she kept fighting for all those people that no one else was fighting for. For women, the 1996, I believe, there was a law passed in Pakistan that any woman who is marrying without the consent of her parents is in unlawful marriage. So Asma was the one who went to court and fought against that law, that any adult woman can marry the person that of her choosing. She even famously, this woman that she was fighting the case for was killed in her office. So she did all this knowing how dangerous it was. She was under threat all the time, but she was so brave. She was out on the roads fighting for these rights and fighting for the dignity of minorities in this country. I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple of times. And when you met her, she was just the most funny woman who told these anecdotal stories and who made everyone laugh. And she mimicked people, like when she was talking about them. She was a really funny, lively, amazing woman, and she just kept smoking her those pine slims she used to smoke. She kept smoking and then telling these really funny stories. So my interaction with her were in situations where it wasn't about her work, but social gatherings, and I found her to be really interesting, really funny, extremely smart, and very, very intelligent woman. And this country will forever miss her.
Definitely. I am going to share a quote and then we're going to wrap it up.
Sure.
She was arrested many times,
Yes,
as you
many
mentioned.
times, many
Right.
times.
So during one of her arrests, she goes, "You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind." And I think she lived by this motto
100%.
throughout
100%.
her life.
Yes.
So that is the end of our episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We sure did.
Yeah.
We shall catch you next time. This is me saying goodbye and
Goodbye. Take
bye
care.
bye.